Hello everyone, welcome to Allie's Books and Movies. Today I am doing my September wrap-up. I didn't read, well, I think I did okay. I read 13 books. A lot of, were like kids' books that I got from the library. Yeah, that's the thing. 12 of these books I read from the library, and only one of them were mine. And that's bad, based on how many books I buy. So I'm on a library checkout ban as of now. Yeah. I think I have one book on hold at the library, and goodness knows when it's going to come in. So unless that book comes in somehow this month, I am sticking exclusively to my books. But to review the ones that I read this past month, the first one is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads because it was so good. It was amazing. I loved it. It's a road trip, guy and a girl fall in love, but it was unique because Morgan Matson, like I've mentioned before in other videos, she went cross country on the road like 5 times, and so she inserted a bunch of like receipts and pictures, I'm guessing from her own travels, and they became an integral part of the story, and so that was great. You really did feel like you were going right along with them on their journey, and so I loved it. The next book I read was a graphic novel called Ivy by Sarah Oleksic. I can never say that name right. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was okay. I thought the artwork was kind of interesting, but the story, it just didn't differ that much from your typical. She sort of came of age at the end, I guess, but you were left sort of wondering. I really wanted to read it because she wants to go to art school, and I go to art school, and so I found that identifiable. Or relatable, rather. So I enjoyed it, but just not something I'd read again, and I kind of understood, like, it got a lower rating on Goodreads anyway, like, generally. So, either way, yeah, I don't regret reading it. The next one that I read was When Did You See Her Last by Lemony Snicket. This is the second book in the All the Wrong Questions series. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I got more into this one than I did the first one, and I will probably read the forthcoming additional books in that series. So it was okay. And the next book that I read was Out of the Easy by Ruta Sepetys. I loved this book because I love Ruta Sepetys in general. She just does awesome books, and this one was no exception. It's about a girl, 17-year-old girl, who she is the daughter of a prostitute, and so of course she's got this big like sign on her back, or just like, people following her around and thinking that she's just like her mom, and she's out to prove them wrong because she's an intellectual. She reads a ton. She's very clever, very just smart, and I loved her. I found her such an awesome character to be with, and I was so glad that I got to read this book. And I can't wait for Ruta Sepetys' newest book, which I believe is out, unfortunately, like at least summer, maybe fall next year. But I like that about her, that she doesn't do a book like every year, because that just shows the amount of time and care she puts into making her new books. So that's just something to look forward to. The next book that I read was Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It's like a cult classic. I think it's had over 65 million copies sold since it came out in the 60s. And it's a controversial book. Like, it's been banned, and that's what immediately attracted me to it, of course, because I wondered why. I had no idea that it was, like, I think I knew that it was about drugs, but I didn't know that it was, like, such a young girl, like 12 years old, and that it was a diary. And I was hooked, like, literally 3 pages in. I was just drawn in, and I don't like stories about drugs. I've never done drugs, and so they just make my stomach turn, but it was one of those things you couldn't look away, and I finished it in like a day and a half. So good, even though so dark. Yeah. The next book that I read was, that was awkward. The next book that I read was The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. This was amazing. I love that it was a story about 2 sisters and just everything that happened in it, the elements of family and relationships, the close relationship she had with her grandmother, who's an artist, the love story, like the dynamic and the triangle. It was very good. I would recommend that you read this. I would love to read her newest book, which, why can't I remember it right now? I'll Give You the Sun. Just came out last month, and I would love to read it, but I'm afraid it's going to be one of those books where I'll, like, lend it to people, and I'll read it with gusto, but I'm afraid I wouldn't read it again. And I'm trying to get in the habit of buying books that I'm going to want to read over again and, like, give to somebody. like someday. That's what my criteria is now for book buying. But yes, the next set of books that I read was the Color Trilogy by Kim Dong-hwa. Sorry if I butchered that. This was a trilogy of graphic novels that are Korean, and I gave them 5 out of 5 stars because they were just so, like, amazing. I blew through them not too long, maybe a week and a half. And they were just really good. It's about a mother and her daughter and their relationship, and it's coming of age for both of them because the mother's a young widow, and so she's raising her on her own and doesn't have a husband, and it's just it's all nature metaphors about women and men, and just like the metaphors are with like insects and flowers and beautiful things, just beautiful nature, organic things, and talking about their romance and just growing up. And it was just really enjoyable to read, and I got to learn more about Korean culture, and that was really interesting. The next book that I read was Catherine, The Great Journey by Christine Gregory. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars because it was so short. I actually couldn't say what she could have done to make it longer, but it just felt short, and it felt like it was lacking something, like missing. It was kind of anticlimactic at the end. I enjoyed reading it nonetheless, and I was able to check it off as yet another Royal Diary read, because I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I love the Royal Diary series and I want to read them all. I think there was like 17, and I'm getting pretty close to having read them all. So that was just another notch in that bedpost. Anyway. The next book that I read was Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. I give this 5 out of 5 stars. I've never read anything by Lois Lowry other than The Giver, so this was interesting. It just sort of refreshed me because I haven't read The Giver since I was a little kid. And so I just got re-familiar with her writing, and I love it. It was really, really good. And just, if you don't know, it's about it's a World War II story about a girl who is friends with a Jewish girl, and they take her in, and it's not terribly long, but it's suitable for kids in terms of like length and like complicatedness of the plot. Like it's simplified and but still lyrical and beautiful and dramatic in points, and I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read was Kenny and the Dragon by Tony DiTerlizzi. I love this book. It was so good. It wasn't a modern fairy tale, but it was like a fairy tale nonetheless, and it was like a twist on like traditional fairy tales. I'm definitely going to pick this book up for myself because I can feel it's going to be one that I'm going to want to read over and over, like as a comfort read, and I'm going to want to pass it on to kids or nieces or whatever comes first. Or, I don't know. I'll pass it on to kids that I know. Put it that way. Yeah. It was really good. It was just about a boy and his dragon, and he's convincing the town that the dragon is not dangerous, and they do it in such an amazing, creative way that it's awesome. And I love the dragon itself and the characters and how intellectual they are, and just the charmingness of, like, this simple village life and that kind of thing. And the illustrations by Tony were really, really good, too. He is the author of the Spiderwick Chronicles, and I wanted to see if I would like his writing, and I do! So that just makes me even more excited to read the Spiderwick Chronicles, so hopefully I pick it in my TBR jar. And the last book that I read was The 100-Foot Journey by Richard C. Moray. This I was very excited to read because I saw the movie, and I really liked the movie, and so this just sort of set up high expectations for this book for me. I did not enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I'm going to do a video, actually. It will be my first book-movie tie-in comparison thingy, and I'm going to do that soon. I don't know when, but it's going to be soon before I forget everything. But I wrote down points and everything about, like, how I felt about this book. It won't be spoiler-free, I can tell you now, because it's something I've really got to work on, making my reviews spoiler-free. It's just really hard because you're rambling, and you don't want to say anything. So that was the end of that. And there's no point in holding up like all the books that I read because all the pictures have popped up. But that was it for September. Pretty good month, pretty productive month for reading. In terms of a TBR, I have said before, I don't like doing TBRs and like strictly confining what I'm going to read for that month. but just looking at what I got here, I think I will make 3 promises and then just go from there. Like the first one will be Flame and Ashes, The Great Fire Diary of Triffy Windsor, because this is the new Dear Canada diary, and since it just got released, I want to be able to read it and to talk about it. The next book that I'm going to read is Not That Kind of Girl by Lena Dunham. It's the book of essays that just came out like yesterday. Yes, a young woman tells you what she's learned. I just hauled this because I'm so excited. I'm so excited to read this, and I'm going to read it this month so that I can do a review about it, and like while it's in the middle of the hype, talking about it. Yeah, and the next book that I plan on reading is in this jar, which I will pick now. Okay. I hope it's not too long because I'm in school now and I'm really, really busy. Ooh, it is. Where is it? Lunch in Paris, a love story with recipes by Elizabeth Band. It's fairly sizable, but it's just one of my many Paris memoirs. I believe it is a woman who, yes, in Paris for a weekend, Elizabeth Bard sat down to lunch with a handsome Frenchman and never went home again. That's what I got. So this is my TBR just for now, for now. Yeah. I really don't like making promises about what I'm going to read for the month because like it just doesn't end up working out. Like with a lot of the library books that I recently got, I ended up putting a bunch of them back because it just got to the point where I was just reading nothing but library books, and I bought too many books that I need to read. So I'm doing that. But yes, these are the books that I have for now, and I'm going to read more, and I'll be talking about that obviously way at the end of October with my October wrap-up. And I know I'm going to have a haul at some point because this is my birthday month, so I'm going to have some sort of birthday haul thingy. And like I said, I'm going to do a little review thingy for the 100-Foot Journey. I have a DVD haul, like a small one, but nonetheless significant DVD haul video that I'm going to put out soon too. So that is all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time with another video. Bye!